Hello again, folks. Today I have a package to open that I am very excited about. I've got some stamps to give away, and I've got a cool story to share. What more can I ask for? Our postage stamps go all over the world. They become, in course of time, a sort of national symbol. And it is therefore very annoying to find that our country is to be represented in the eyes of the world by a grotesque and ridiculous symbol. And that she will be a laughingstock, even to childish stamp collectors of every nation. Mr. Fraser has no good reason for departing from imperial usage in this matter. Australia should do as the rest of the dominions do. We should all alike have the king's head printed on our stamps, because it is the most obvious and unmistakable symbol of the constitutional bond between the various members of our far-scattered empire. But even if Mr. Fraser entertains Republican sentiments and thinks it is his duty to express them by means of the national stamp, he might surely have found some heraldic device more noble and dignified than that absurd kangaroo. And so begins a trip through Australian philately. In the comment section down below, I would love it if you would add to what I share here. Tell us what you know about Australian stamps. What do you love? What do you look for? What should we be paying attention to? What stories are there on these stamps that I don't get to here? The first thing to say is just how wonderful Australian stamps are. They are some of the best designs, some of the some very rich history, as we'll get to. The basic rules of stamp collecting obviously apply to Australian stamps. And so higher denomination stamps are going to be more rare and therefore more collectible. New stamps tend to be more collectible than used. And the highest level of collectability oftentimes is a mint never hinged stamp, meaning that it was never put into a stamp album like this using a hinge. So after the Ruse, which was the first stamp produced by Australia, the Commonwealth, they went to the imperial design of the king's head on the stamps. And I do know that he was quite annoyed about their decision to go ahead and put a kangaroo on their first stamp. But they did it anyways, which I appreciate. And so after that, they went back to the more imperial usage. Ah, that's a nice page. That's unused. I didn't know that. Oh, that's a nice stamp. I didn't know that when I bought this. That's a beautiful stamp. Nice. It's got a little bit of paper damage to the top, but oh, that's a great high denomination unused stamp. That £1 commemorative is a particularly fine stamp that you're looking for. Oh, and speaking of which, I should go back a page and mention that this stamp right here, the 5 shilling, is one that we're all searching for. It's a very high value stamp. I'll put a graphic of it on the screen there. So that is the one that you're looking for if you have a pile of Australian stamps. Oh, very cool. And here is the last bit of surprise. So I am unsure if this is a mint or a mint never hinged stamp because it doesn't say. It is a quad. It is beautiful. It's the reprinting. It's the 1946 version of the Rue, but it's still very, very cool. And is it mint never hinged? Ah, it is! Nice! Oh, that's very nice. You can see the watermarks. Oh, that's very, very cool. What a great stamp. What a great stamp. I like that a lot. Oh, pretty. And welcome aboard Flight Philately. We're going to be touring at 20,000 feet. And a reminder that your captain is not a specialist when it comes to Australian philately. So please do share with us your insight. There are 5 colonies that produced stamps from Australia: New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, Western Australia. And I will tell you that even though I am not a specialist, when I get a new used album, I one of the first things I look for are colonies of Australia. I think these stamps are beautiful. I haven't focused on them much, but they are gorgeous. They are collectible, and so therefore I do pay attention. Here is my New South Wales collection. Next, we're going to go to South Australia. This is a nicer page. I did fill some of these with some of my own stamps. I love that cancel. Socked on the nose, 1895. As with all Victorian stamps, condition is absolutely everything, as with most stamps, all stamps I should say. So it's exciting to find a cool stamp, a cool old stamp. It's even more exciting when you realize that the perforations are intact, it is centered, it's got a great cancel. And from here we are going to go to Tasmania. And a quick glance at the handful of stamps I have from Tasmania. I would love to find that stamp sometime. I love those really old Victorian stamps, as do most stamp collectors. Now we're going to go to Victoria. A nice page of Victorian stamps with some very cool cancels. All right, from here we're going to go to Western Australia. Now, the Roos get all the flack for not having the king's head on them, but Western Australia was actually first. So Western Australia started producing stamps, and they put these gorgeous swans on them, which I think are very, very cool. There are a lot of different variations of these, so I'm sure specialists have a fun time figuring out which they have. All right, speaking of the Roos, now let's go to Australian Commonwealth, and I'll tell you a bit of a story. All right, Flight Philately. Please put your seat in its original position. We are coming into a landing in Australia, Commonwealth. It is 1913, and the government is releasing the kangaroo and map stamp. It was a rough beginning. Not only did it not have the king's head on it, but the design pissed people off too. Even though now it has truly outlasted the critics. According to Stanley Gibbons, the kangaroo and map stamps are today one of the most enduring stamps in the world. They also have quite a story to tell. And ultimately, it's about who gets to decide what a nation prints on its stamps and why it matters so much. Let me preface this by saying I am not a historian, I am a stamp collector. So I've put some links in the description below for more information if you'd like to learn more. But what I was able to glean is that since this was the first stamp issued by the Australian Commonwealth, the government launched a stamp design competition, which received over 1,000 entries. 3 were chosen for consideration, but ultimately the postmaster C.E. Fraser decided that none were good enough. I had in view getting something distinctive, Fraser said. We found that after consideration for a good number of years, it did not seem likely that we were going to get any particular designs accepted. Personally, I was very strong on having the outline of white Australia on the stamp. Then the question arose, what are you going to put on white Australia? And as the kangaroo is the only animal common to all states and peculiar to Australia, we decided to get the kangaroo on the white space. There is no reason why we should not take advantage of the stamp to advertise this country, and I believe the stamp will do it. So the roos were in print for over 30 years, and so identifying which one you have can be tricky. It involves perforation gauges like this, and then watermark fluid to determine which watermark it has. And then there's minor variations and flaws to look for. But that's what makes them so much fun to collect, because you really do have to do your research to figure out which one you have. And there's the last page in my Australian section. I do love these stamps. They are gorgeous. They tell quite a history. And I hope you enjoyed this little flight through Australia and its states. And, oh yeah, the giveaway. So to enter my little contest here, what you're going to do is drop a comment in the comment section below with a piece of Australian philately history, or maybe something general about stamp collecting, but it would be great if it's specific to Australia. Maybe it's a tidbit about a story that I haven't shared, or maybe it's something about later versions, because this book does end in 1940. But drop a comment in the comment section below. I will then enter you into a drawing, and in a future video, I'll do a spin the wheel to determine which 3 of you will receive one of these packets, and then I'll let you know how to reach out to me and get you your stamps. My hope is that together we're going to create a beginner's guide to collecting Australian stamps. And I hope this little journey provided a bit of inspiration for you to learn more. If you liked it, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. It means a great deal to me. Until next time.